I'd just like to share the quick story of this mulberry tree. This, to me, is the never give up tree. I started it from a seed, I think, 6 years ago. And so you may be saying, that's not a very large tree for a 6-year-old mulberry. And you'd be right. That's because I started this seed maybe even 7 years ago, actually. I was living in Vermont, and I bought a bunch of seeds from Sheffield's that were labeled black mulberry, which you tell me what you think. If you're my friend Lee Reich, you don't believe me. He thinks that this is a red mulberry. It may be true, but I bought the seeds from Sheffield's as black mulberry, and they're not supposed to really be able to survive here, but who knows? Maybe we can get an actual correct diagnostic on it, or ID. Anyway, I started the seed. It grew, maybe 10 inches in the first year. Second year of its life, I moved down here to New York, and I planted it in this pile of compost, and it grew crazy, maybe to half its height here that it is now in the second year. And then that winter got hammered by deer on the top. The next spring, I go to take it out of the compost pile because I'm going to plant it somewhere, and there were no roots left. The entire root system had been chewed off by voles. I mean, beyond the nub, there was literally no roots. So I just kind of stuck it in the ground, back in the compost pile rather, half as a joke, because I was like, well, this thing's dead. And somehow it started growing again. So then that fall, I planted it here, and it got obliterated by deer a second time, and I just left it. And not this year, but the spring before this year, I went to go push it, and it nearly fell over because its root system had been hit again. There were almost no roots left. So this poor tree has gone from healthy to almost no foliage to basically no roots at all, to coming out of that, to getting hit a second time. And now it is just loaded with fruit. They're amazing. They are just fabulous. I can't imagine a better tasting mulberry. I mean, I like all of them, so don't ask me. I'm a very bad source for fruit qualities because I pretty much like all fruit. And I'm just overjoyed. Last year I put on a few berries, but this year it seems to be really going for it. And I think now that, we're seeing shoots like that, it's just above and beyond deer browse, and this is going to be a long-lived tree that's going to drop a lot of mulberries into my life. So it's a plug for mulberries because they're so good. Nothing else is close to ripe right now. And just an incredibly resilient tree, ready for the deer browse, ready for the voles, ready to be almost left for dead, and can still make it out of it. So highly recommend to plant mulberries. Birds love them, people love them. They're healthy.